Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Row by Row Show. I'm Travis.
I'm Greg.
And good to have you with you. Good to have you with us this New Year's Eve. We took last week off for Christmas. Everybody had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that. And, it got pretty chilly here around Christmas.
We are having a colder than usual winter.
Colder than usual winter, although it'll get cold for a little bit, and then we get into these crazy days where the temperature will swing 30, 40 degrees in a day. It could be the 40 degrees in the morning and get on up 70 degrees in the afternoon.
Yeah, but we've had a couple mornings, we've had some damaging frost. I mean, we've had some pretty heavy-duty frost there a couple mornings. We got some, my mustard grew out of it, but it took a pretty good hit there. I had some pretty mustard greens, and that heavy frost coming on and burn them back. Now they'll bounce back, but it's pretty tough for
this last round. My stuff didn't get damaged too bad. That first one we had, when I had all the ice on there, did a number, and then I think all my stuff's pretty acclimated. I hadn't had.
Yeah, I didn't have as much either, but I did have a little bit of burn back, but it's just expected on those cold days, and it makes a difference where the wind's coming from, if it's exposed to a good wind or not.
And the fog in the air.
Fog in the air, yeah.
A lot of that can make a difference.
Glad Christmas is up with you. I've noticed a lot of people, especially on the Row by Row group, is getting geared up, and everybody's starting to think springtime, including me. I mentioned to somebody the other day, I said, next thing you know, it'll be time for us to plant tomatoes in the greenhouse. I
ain't gonna get behind on my tomato and pepper transplants this year. I'm gonna get them going actually pretty soon. In the month of January, I'm gonna get them going. I feel like I'm always a little behind on that. I want to be on the ball like these commercial guys are around here when they go to putting theirs in the ground.
Yeah, yep.
You had your gardening with Greg, made a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah.
This past week, and I know you're going to try to work hard to put out a few more of those.
Yes, we are.
You talked about your multiplying nest onions, whatever you want to call them.
I did.
And a lot of people were wondering you never told us what varieties.
I did not.
You have growing.
Well, I got three. I did mention the three strands. So I got a strand from Texas, I got a strain from Alabama, and a strain from here in where we live, South Georgia. And I separated them out, treated them all pretty much equally, and I'm getting a good idea of which ones. Now, they are the same onion. Let's get that straight, but they're different strains. And I wanted to see if they were a difference in it. And believe it or not, the ones in Texas seem to show the most vigor at this point. Not a lot of difference, but we can see just a little bit of difference in the ones from Texas.
So they are all the same.
They're all the same onion, so we don't have different varieties, but we did work with different strains there. Okay. And it could have been adapted to different type of climates. I just don't know. That's the reason we want to keep them separate and grow them out.
Okay. Another thing some people ask, and I was 100% sure on this, do these things, do they make a seed head? I know you don't harvest the seeds.
They will make a seed head. A lot of people don't think they will, but they will make a seed head.
But you don't harvest the seeds or anything.
No.
Do you, I guess you don't, there's no way you really knowing the northernmost tolerance for them.
No, okay, I don't have any hard evidence on this. However, I do got an inclination. I think these things are not going to produce really well up north. And what we see, that potato onion that we got, I got a potato onion trial. Until you hear about the potato onion, a lot of people get confused with the potato onion and the one that we're growing, which we call the multiplying onion, because the potato onion is also a multiplying onion. Mm-hmm. But it makes a bigger bulb than these do. Mm-hmm. And I've got some of those growing. Now that potato onion will grow all the way up and does well as far up in Maine. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to work better in your northern states, and I think this particular onion that I'm growing is well suited for the southern United States.
Potato onion, that's the one come from North Carolina?
It is, but a lady in Maine also grows a lot of them. Okay.
But that one, it's going to take you a little while to have some seed stock on that one.
It is.
But the multiplying onion, that's what we're going to call it, multiplying onion?
Well, it is a multiplying onion. No, we're not going to call it a multiplying onion. It is a multiplying onion. I think I'm going to name them.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to call them the Tom onion, Thom, Tom onion.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm almost certain that we're going to have unless something drastically happens, we're going to have a real good crop.
So we'll be selling the bulbs.
We'll be selling the bulbs come fall time. Yep. We're actually putting in a storage facility so we can store these things all summer long. How about that? I'm talking about a climate-controlled, humidity-controlled room so we can keep these bulbs nice and fresh. So when fall time gets here, they can get a good quality product.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
So we'll take our tater room when it's not being used for
There you go.
and switch it over to
There you go.
change up the settings. And
You know, really and truly, there's not a lot of difference between onion storage and potato storage.
there's
a little bit.
seed storage and tater storage.
There's a lot of difference between seed storage and potato or onion storage, but not much between potato and onion storage.
Speaking of seeds, let me delve into something here real quick. So, I'm on several kind of homesteaded general gardening groups on Facebook, and I've seen a lot of people complaining. I won't say complaining, but bringing up the fact that they have seen pretty much across all vendors online that seed prices have started to increase some. And a part of that is a product of just supply and demand and being scarce. But it's also, I think there has become, there's been kind of this revelation this year, especially among some of the older seed companies out there, that they may have been devaluing their product a little bit. And give me just a minute here. So I was on a Zoom call. This was about a month or so ago with a lot of there was a representative there for most all your online seed companies, in addition to all the growers and vendors who supply seeds for people like us. And I won't bring out his name, but I'm going to steal his example. So he's this guy that was kind of leading me to start off like this. He said, take this Coca-Cola here and take this M&M's. Now, I didn't know this until my mother-in-law was with us one day around Christmas, and I had to go pick up her a Coca-Cola from the dollar store. I didn't realize these things cost $2 now.
I hadn't bought one in years.
I don't drink them, so I didn't know, but these $2. And you add a pack of M&M's or a cracker or something, you got $4 right here. Now, tell me this, which is more valuable? This for $4 or that for $4? And so my point is, especially for the people who are selling 99-cent seeds, $2 seed packets, really cheap seed packets, what's happening is they're finally coming to a realization is they were really devaluing their product.
I agree with you, but I got a point I want to make when you get through.
So you got to think, there's 200 kale seeds in here. Do you know how much kale lost knotted kale you can harvest from 200 seeds?
A lot.
This is the same price. Yeah, this is going to give you some quick satisfaction. This you might have to work a little bit at. But this, food-wise, is so much more valuable than this is. And so I think some people just got used to seeds being cheap, and they didn't really realize what they were getting when they were getting a pack of seeds. So if you see seed prices increasing, just realize what you're getting here. Now, I will come out and say this, we're never going to be out there competing on price for seed packets. Our motto is we want to provide superior quality, and there's lots of different ways we do that. So we sell quality, and that's why our packets may cost $1 or so more than something else you may find online. We also put a lot more seeds in there than most people do. But anyway, I want you to think about this when you're shopping online and you're buying seeds. Think about what you're actually getting here and compare it to something like this, which, that's going to burn up in about an hour, so you'll be hungry again.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is, back a long time ago, when you bought seed packs, you went into the hardware store or you went to the feed and seed store and you bought a seed pack. That was the only way you could get seed packs. Well, with the information age and the internet coming along like it has created new opportunities for companies like ourselves to be able to offer seeds and to offer a little bit higher quality seeds, and we're held more responsible for the product that we sell. If you bought a bad seed pack a few years ago at the seed store and something didn't happen, they didn't come up or whatever, you just kind of chalked it up and went on, you didn't worry about it. Well, nowadays you can feel better about who you buy your seeds from and knowing that you got a better quality product than you had back in the day, because they would just pack thousands and thousands and thousands of them and put them out there in the seed rack. I mean, and just sell them, and maybe selling old seed, 3-year-old seed or whatever. It didn't matter. But nowadays, people are, in this information age, are being held more responsible for some of the products that they are selling, which is a good thing. And then you also know where these seeds are coming from, who is selling you these seeds. You have more of that relationship with her, and you feel more comfortable with her. And you know, we do a better job handling our seeds. We do a better job testing our seeds. We do a better job sourcing our seeds than some of the old seed companies that was out there years ago.
That's right.
Amen.
Amen. One more thing to that point. I mentioned comparing the value of this versus this. I was in Publix the other day, and there's not that many gold beet varieties out there, so I'm pretty sure it was the same variety. They had a bunch of beets there. There was probably 3 or 4 of them, nice sized beets, you know, bigger than a golf ball, not quite as big as a tennis ball. A bunch of beets, 4 beets or so, for $4. So you get this seed packet here, Touchstone Gold Beets, you get 350 seeds in there. Not to count that these things are multi-germ, so each seed's going to produce more than one beet. This for $4 versus a bunch of beets, you know, 4 or 5 beets for $4. You get a lot of value in a seed packet.
Quite an investment there.
Quite the investment. Now, yeah, it's not going to do it by itself. It's not going to do anything just sitting right there on that table. But think about what you're getting here. Think about the value there. Think about the potential of this.
My new tagline is, be healthy, be happy, be a gardener.
Eat beets.
Eat beets.
That's right.
Eat beets.
Okay, so done with that little rant, but I thought that was really interesting. Like I said, I stole that example. That's not my original idea, but what is original now?
So let's give them an update on seeds. Everybody's a little concerned about seeds this year with the pandemic we've had going on, and upbeat in people gardening. So let's talk about seed supplies.
Yeah, let's talk about it. And with this, I'm not trying to create panic or pandemonium by any means. It drives me crazy if somebody gets a little scared and then you see people at the gas station buying up all the gas and toilet paper. That drives me crazy. So that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to be honest with you about what I kind of see happening already. Seed shortages, we talked about before. There are going to be some known shortages with beans.
English peas.
Beans, English peas. Corn looks fine. As far as other things like tomatoes and just general stuff, what I'm seeing right now is that there is going to be a shortage on some of the OP varieties. For example, Amish paste tomato, I can't get any more. I'm not sure if we're out on the site right now or not, but I know I can't get any more for 2021. Thankfully, we've got 2 great hybrid varieties, Invincible and Tachi, that are suitable replacements there. For the most part, a lot of our hybrid kind of high-performing varieties, the hybrid seed companies, they seem to kind of have everything together production-wise, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of shortages there. I may be seeing some delays in when I can get seeds, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of shortages on that front. I am seeing some shortage with the OP stuff. So some of your heirlooms, some of your open pollinated things, there could be some shortages, and that's going to be the first thing that you start to see out of stock on our website and probably other people's as well.
Stands to reason.
If we can't get Amish paste, can't nobody else get them.
Right.
They'll be out everywhere. So just to kind of give you a heads up there, if there are some OP things you really want, then I'm not trying to create panic, but you may want to snag those up.
And OP there again means open pollinated.
Right.
Means you can save those seeds from year to year.
Save those seeds if you feel like they're going to be hard to find the next year. The hybrids at this point seem to be okay. Things like sweet corn seem to be plentiful. And I've been buying up pallets of corn left and right. We're going to have plenty of sweet corn.
Yeah, speaking of field corn just for a minute, some of our field corn hasn't come in yet. We're expecting a shipment on some of the Jimmy Red and some of the other probably around the middle of January.
I got a heap of Jimmy Red coming.
Yep.
So we'll have that. And hopefully we're able to start to offer that in some bigger bags, 25, 10-pound bags.
We got a phone call.
Somebody's trying to call me. Probably one of them fellers want to sell me an extended warranty on my
Probably
car.
is, or either wanting you to vote.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some new varieties that we just added on the site within the last week. This first one here, really excited about. We've been talking about this one a lot. This Mountain Vineyard tomato. I mentioned on one show that was a determinant, and that's what the breeder had originally told me, and somebody corrected me. Somebody that knew about this variety had grown it and said it was more semi-determinate, or what some people would call a compact indeterminate. So there's a little confusion there. It's not a traditional determinant like you would say a Bella Rosa or something.
Oh,
like
really?
that.
Well, I thought it was. I thought I looked up on the breeder site and read that.
It is a compact indeterminate.
Okay.
Is what I'm seeing it referred to in most places. But this is a grape tomato, best tasting cherry tomato or small tomato.
Yeah, if there's one tomato out there this year that is a cherry tomato that you want to try, this has got to be it.
Yeah.
Hands down, this is it.
So this one has what they call the crimson gene in it. So some tomatoes have this and some don't. And this particular hybrid was crossed with a tomato that had the crimson gene in it, which gives it a really dark color, really high in lycopene, which we know is good.
Man, but some robust flavor, just like boom, boom. It was awesome.
So we'll have these in the next few weeks. We'll have a 50 seed option on this. We just have the 10 seed option right now. These aren't cheap seeds, but they're good seeds. You got a 98% germination rate on those right there.
Yeah, and let me explain something to you now. If you feel bad about buying a pack of these 10 seeds, and how much we charge for this?
$4 or $5.
$4 or $5. Keep in mind, when they brought these in my office, I could hold that box in one hand, and it was over $20,000 worth. So don't feel like we're ripping you off when you pay that for these, because these things are extremely expensive, not only to you, but to us. But however, we think they are worth it.
It was a variety we certainly wanted to add, regardless of what they cost, just because we tried them. It was like, man, we got to share this.
I told them in the seed room, I said, y'all put these in a special place now. Guard them with your life.
All right. The next one here is one that you have spoke a lot about and shown results from here, and this is our Roselle hibiscus.
It is, and let me tell you, folks, I planted too much of this. I planted about 15 feet. It don't take near as much of this as you think it does.
I read where one plant could give you 12 pounds of the seed heads.
Yeah, and we made all kind of things off of it. But I can tell you one thing, and we looked at it last night. But we're making some Rosella wine. Now, it's not the easiest wine to make, but we've made some Rosella wine.
But there's not much sugar there?
Well, you have to boil it down. So you boil it down to get it's more of a, there's not as much sugar, but it's more of it's a lot more to it. A lot more labor involved. But man, you talking about something special.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be some more of a drier wine, but that is going to make some awesome wine, makes good jelly. I still got tea. We make Rosella tea. I still got tea in the refrigerator. We made several gallons of it. It won't go bad. It'll stay with you for a while. It's good stuff.
Now, I was reading where you can, I don't know if y'all did this, but the calyx is there, which is the actual edible part. What you can do is if you have an abundance of them, you can dry them or dehydrate them.
We're doing that. We got a bunch drying down there now.
And save them for later, put them up.
Yep.
Or you can use them fresh.
Yeah, we did both. We took our last harvest and we're drying them down.
Now, these things are in the mallow family, so they're related to okra, cotton, your traditional hibiscus. Good thing about them, you don't have to really worry about a lot of pest pressure. The one thing, because it's in the mallow family, don't be planting this behind where you planted okra last year.
Yeah.
Anything in the mallow family, you can have some issues with root knot nematodes, especially down here. So just keep a good rotation with that. The other thing is, if you live, we got a lot of customers that live down in Florida where they don't ever get a frost. You can grow this as a perennial down there. But up here where we get a frost knock it back. But it's a heat-loving, warm season plant.
I did not have to spray it with a fungicide or insecticide any. And it's extremely drought resistant. So you don't really, you ain't got to
watch your nematode rotation and you'll be good.
Yep.
And these plants will get on up about 7 foot tall.
Oh, they get huge.
So give them a little bit of room. Here's another one you was talking about. and you grew some of it, and now we got it. And this is our Chinese okra. Now, I understand a lot of people are have some things against the China and Chinese, but don't let the name kind of fool you that we didn't name it.
Yeah, this is actually a type of loofah sponge, but this is the edible one. A lot of people call it Reed okra or have different names. Reed gourd, whatever. I found that it's better off to grow this on a trellis.
Yes.
This year, they'll. I mean, it's a vining plant. They'll run on you a pretty good bit, and you don't need that much of them. 10 to 15 feet. These things make a lot. When they're real young is when you want to harvest them and eat them. They'll get out of hand.
If you're gonna eat them, now if you're gonna use them to make sponges.
Yeah, but they're not really that well for make sponge. If you're gonna make sponges, you need to get the regular loofah, which is a smooth skin. These ridge ones don't do as well as the smooth skin loofah. The smooth skin loofah is better apt to make your sponges with.
Okay.
Now these will get out of hand on you. They'll get. You want to eat them when they're about that big around. You can tell that. In a couple of days' time, they'll get too big to fry up and eat. You don't need a lot of them. It's a good plant. Tastes just about like fried okra.
Good frying variety.
Yeah.
All right, this next one's one I'm excited about trying. So we've made it, and I think we only got 2 on the site now. We'll be adding a few more, adding some popcorn varieties. And this right here is a hybrid popcorn. This is a white popcorn called Robust White Popcorn. And in the popcorn world, this would be the equivalent of like a super sweet or one of those high performing hybrids like Obsession or something like that. This is your top of the line popcorn variety here. Supposed to make taller stalks than traditional popcorn, thicker stalks so they can withstand some wind and stuff like that. 8-inch ears, and it's just supposed to be really, really high quality popcorn. And I can't wait to try to grow some of this. We eat a lot of popcorn at my house. We even got a little popcorn machine that we use. And that is the popcorn of popcorns right there. Now, there are some novelty popcorns out there, some more ornamental types, but if you really going to eat it, grow it to eat, this is the one you want to grow.
Popcorn's fun to grow. I grew the first popcorn I ever grew. How old are you? 35?
Yeah.
Was probably around 35 years ago somewhere was the first popcorn I ever grew. It's fun. Popcorn.
That's what happens when you eat too much.
Yep.
The britches popcorn. This last one here, we have one on the site we've had for a year or so called White Knight Pro Cut, and we carry about every color of the Pro Cut sunflower series because we just really like them. They're great sunflowers to grow. We had the White Knight, which is white petals with a dark disc. This is the White Light.
Oh.
So it has the white petals with the light kind of green.
Man, people go crazy about these white sunflowers.
Yeah, if you just want to grow them at the home to look pretty, feed your bees and stuff, they're great for that. But they also make awesome cut flowers. On these white ones, I will tell you, if you're going to use them for cut flowers, whether you're going to put them in the house or sell them, anything white in the garden, especially white blooms, is a little more susceptible to insect damage and things like that. So right before that bloom opens up is when you want to pick them and then let them open on up in the house.
I've noticed that too.
All right. Y'all go on the website, check out all that good new stuff right there. So every year around this time, right before New Year's, it's time to kind of evaluate the past year and talk about what we're going to try to do better in the following year. 2020 has been a kind of a rough, crazy year for everybody, and we can only hope that 2021 will be a little better, a little less stressful.
I agree.
Hopefully we get this corona under control. It can only get better, that's what I say.
Yep.
So I went back and looked at our show we did last year, our pre-New Year show last year, and wrote down what our resolutions were last year. I figured we would revisit that for a second here and just see how we did. And then we'll get on to our resolutions for 2021. Mm-hmm. So let's start off with you here. One of your 2020 resolutions was not to eat meat at every meal, eat more vegetables and basically go vegan every now and then on a meal.
Not done as good as I wanted to. However, we did something the other night I want to mention that I want to do more of. And this was kind of a scavenger meal. So we went out there to the garden and we just scavenged. We got turnip roots, and I know some of y'all don't like turnip roots, but bear with me on this. We picked whatever was ready. We got turnip roots, we got beets, we got carrots, we got a little lacinato kale. We just threw it all together, went back to the house, boiled it in some chicken broth, put a little ginger in there, and man, you talking about a wonderful meal. That was a good meal. I want to do more of that.
Yeah.
Eat off the land.
Just eat whatever's out
Well,
there.
and one reason for this is, with this year that we've had, we've realized sometimes the grocery stores may not be open. These things that can happen to cause our food supply to go bad. Mm-hmm. And so I want to be more self-sufficient. I want to be able to eat out of the garden or off the homestead to be able to survive.
I got you.
Just in case.
I got you. One of mine from last year was along kind of that same vein. It was to eat from the garden every night, and it's hard. It's hard to do with 2 kids, I can tell you. We did eat more from the garden this year than we have in the past, but I'm certainly not eating from there every night. Close, but not quite. Still got some room for improvement there. As far as you go, you had when you wanted to let some plots rest in 2020 and farm a new plot.
Yeah, and I've done that. And actually, our multiplying onions we've got on a new spot. So I've created a new spot out back behind my other garden, and I'm doing a better job on my rotation, letting some things lay out for a couple of years and using some new spots.
Yeah, that's where you grew your Algonquin
That's
squash.
exactly right.
So yeah, you did a great job with that one.
Yep.
One I had was to grow more beans. I grew a bunch of beans in the spring, and then we grew a heap of rattlesnake beans in the fall. We canned about 20 or 30 jars of beans. So I would have to say I accomplished my goal there as far as filling the pantry with the beans. Your last one here you had for 2020 was to, I believe in 2019 you was going to lose 25 pounds, and then you upped the ante last year was going to lose 40 pounns.
Well,
You ought to be withering away at this point.
My New Year's resolution is to lose 45 pounds.
Oh, goodness.
I can't help it. I just love to eat. I did lose some weight back during the springtime. We got so busy and I was working all the time. I did lose some there, but I put it back on. Holidays has not been kind to Greg's physique.
45 pounds is pretty tough.
I like to let it be. I feel better.
And the last one I had for 2020 was to double our YouTube subscriber count. We were at 40K, and we actually tripled it, so we're at about 125K. So we did pretty good there. All right, so that was 2020. We did all right considering what the average stick to it rate is for New Year's resolution. Now let's talk about this year.
Yep.
I've got 4 here, and I assume you've got 4 or so.
I do.
Okay, so I'll let you go with your first one there.
The first one I want to do is encourage new gardeners. We see this all along about, people on our Facebook group or people that call in, all these questions. I want to do a better job encouraging new gardeners, helping them along to become successful.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's
Maybe kind of boil down things a little bit, keep things a little simpler.
Yeah, but yeah, I just think it's upon us, the more experienced gardeners out there, to pass along that tradition and to help this younger generation, the older generation, the new gardeners, let me say that, be successful. And there's some things that you can do, there's some advice we could give them that we learned the hard way that would, save them a lot of pain.
You just don't go try and teach anybody how to grow carrots.
Okay.
I want to leave that.
Well, this year ain't over with. You ain't seen my carrot plot this year.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got something going?
Got something going on.
Oh, watch out. My first one here is I focused on the beans last year, the kind of green beans. This year I want to grow and put up a heap of butter beans, and I'm talking about a heap of them. I want to about fill a deep freezer full of these things.
I love butter beans.
And what one of my plots isn't but about 20 foot wide, and I've seen old Tom Matthews do this and other people. And I've got some cattle panels I don't ever really use, but I got them. And I'm thinking about making me just putting 2 lines of drip on the outside, right on the edge of that plot, and making me about a 20-foot long butter bean arbor.
Pick butter beans in the shade.
And just grow a heap of them. So that's kind of my plan. I got to get some more details from our viewers on how they do this arch, how tall you need to do it, whatever. But I'm gonna get that figured up. But that's one of my goals, is just grow me an inordinate amount of butter beans.
Yep. So my second one kind of feeds off the first one, is to create more content for new gardeners. It's to be on a better schedule, and hopefully we've got some things calmed down around here a little bit so I can have more time and to create new and better content for those people that's just beginning.
More gardening with Greg's for the newbies.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, do that. My second one here has something to do with, and this is probably of the four I got, the one where I had the chance of being the least successful, and that is to try to grow some field peas. Once again, I haven't tried it in 3 or 4 years. It got almost impossible. I hear folks doing it around here, and I guess you just got to start spraying when them things first come up from the ground. Maybe even do a soil drench. We'll have to try, but we keep that weevil out of them. I'm gonna try a whole plot. I'm gonna try a couple different varieties, grow some zippers. I can do the pink eyes, purple pink eyes. They don't seem to get as stung up. I can do those a little better. Those zippers, man, they just get wore out, and those are the best tasting ones.
You know, the guys that have been successful around here, they always plant them late spring. That's one common thing that I've noticed. They plant them late spring.
Anyway, I'm going to give it a try again this year. I hope I'm successful, because that's another thing I'd like to have in the freezer is fresh field peas. It's hard to beat them things.
Yeah. And to follow up on something we talked about earlier, I know you can't look at me and tell I need to lose 40 pounds. I know that's a stretch on the imagination, but there again this year, I would like to become healthier and lose a little weight. For my overalls, would fit a little looser.
That's the problem with overalls. Is you don't really realize you gain weight.
There's no test there when you put them
on pants like me, and you can tell a little bit better. My third one goes back to what I talked about before. I'm gonna grow just about as much sweet corn as I did last year, but I want to grow some popcorn. I'm gonna grow a whole plot of popcorn and have me a popcorn stash at the house. Tired of eating. I'm not eating anymore Orville Redenbacher's GMO popcorn.
You're going to eat your own popcorn.
I'm going to grow my own popcorn, pop it in my popcorn thing.
You're going to say, Ty, Abram, let's go pop us some of our own popcorn.
Yeah, and I'm going to put as much butter and coconut oil as I want to on it, and it's going to be good stuff.
My fourth and final one, folks, is to do more fishing. Now, I simply just love to fish. Me and Miss Hoss love to fish. We love to eat them. And my goal is to do more of that. Now, I prefer to fish running water. I like to fish rivers and streams and creeks. And I'm planning on taking more time to do that.
You did a good bit of fishing.
I did a good bit. I want to do more of it.
Do even more?
Yep.
My fourth one, and this is something I've done previously, but I haven't done in several years, is to run another half marathon. So back in my heyday, I used to do 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know if I ever did 4 a year. 2 or 3 a year. When I had kids, kind of had to stop that. So run at least 1 half marathon this year. Probably take me till fall to get back in that kind of shape. But
it's hard to do with a family.
It is tough. It's hard to find time. It take once you get on up there and training, running 10, 11 miles at a time, that can take 2 hours out of your day. It
takes a little more than 2 hours out of my day, I can promise you that. It's like take a week out of my day.
All right, we got some questions from last week's show here we want to get to. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, the first one's from my forever gardener, the Johnsons. And it's for Travis. He says, hello from San Antonio, Texas. I just found y'all and absolutely love your channel. What I want to know is there are so many wheel hose and attachments. What is the best tools to get if I'm just starting out and I want to use the wheel hoe and different attachments to start to maintain my garden for years to come? I know you did a video on hand tools and one on the different type of wheel hoe attachments. I'm trying to watch all your videos and it's a little overwhelming. What is your basic recommendation on the wheel hoe and attachments for a startup forever garden? Thank you so much. And he brings up a great point that we get all the time.
Yep. So lots of good options out there, and I'll so you got your single wheel hoe, you got your double wheel hoe, you got your high arch wheel hoe. It sounds like these guys are pretty serious about gardening. So what I would recommend, and this is our most popular package, is our double wheel deal, which includes a double wheel hoe. You get the 4 teeth, you get the sweeps, which are now stronger and more fortified, and you get that plow set you're going to want to use to plant potatoes. What we see a lot of times is, and I try to, if somebody's new to a wheel hoe, never used one before, never really played around with it, I try to steer them towards this package. That high arch is great, but what we see a lot of times, somebody gets them a single or double, and then they'll add a high arch to the arsenal.
I never recommend the high arch as the first wheel hoe.
Right. It can do so much, but unless you've used a wheel hoe and kind of played around with it before, it's hard to kind of wrap your head around all that high arch can do. So that double wheel deal is going to give you some nice stability, and in that package there, there are other things you can do, lay drip tape and stuff further down the line, but that package has basically everything you need to do for a startup garden, and you can take care of the weeds, heel, furrow, knock it out of the park.
Yep.
Number 2 is from Clarence W. Hawkins, and he says, what do you recommend planting in a 30 by 70 high tunnel hoop house in Zone 8A, North Louisiana, getting a plant first time? You've got some first-hand experience with
Yeah, Clarence, I've got a hoop house. Mine's maybe not quite as big as yours, but those are nice and handy to have. And one of the problems with the hoop house is if you got the plastic on there, which I'm assuming you do, you're not going to be able to use it very much in the middle of the summertime. That's the kind of time it has to lay back. But you're going to get the best use out of that thing during the transition periods or during the wintertime. So one thing that I really found out that grows well in the hoop house in the wintertime is lettuce. Now, I know you can grow lettuce outside of the hoop house, but it seems to do a lot better in those hoop houses. Now, you got to lay drip irrigation on it. It stays a lot cleaner. The disease is not near as bad on your lettuce. Grows faster. We was really amazed how well our lettuce grew in these hoop houses. Another thing you can do is you can plant your summer squash in there about 2 to 3 weeks earlier than you can outside, and you can get a huge jump on summer squash with the hoop house.
You have squash for everybody else does.
Yeah, you can beat it at least 2 weeks.
And you can grow some massive squash plants in hoop houses.
Yep. All right. I got a little carried away there.
Yeah.
I kind of daydreamed about my hoop house. The next one's from Jennifer Kern. She says, we enjoy watching your videos. I really like this one since we do not have much room to experiment. Have you ever thought of offering a package of seeds to your recommendations for a garden? If not a package, then a section of your website that lists your recommendations.
So I know
Wow.
I know
you recommend them all, don't you?
Yeah. I know we've talked about this a while, but we do have a something on our website. We're working on this little garden planner feature. However, there's been a little bit of hesitation. Last year, when things got crazy, a lot of the things on our website broke, and it wasn't just us, it happened to a lot of people out there in e-commerce because there was so much new load on the servers there, and we're just trying to be a little bit careful with this thing. The last thing we want to do is throw this thing on the site, it take up a lot of the server load, and then it affect our checkout and people not be able to check out in a timely manner. So we have it. Our fingers kind of on the button, but we've got to do a little more testing to make sure it's not going to throw off something else on the website. But I'm really, really close on that. And we'll have something there. And hopefully, if it works properly, it's going to provide recommendations for your zone based on whatever month you want to see. And you can buy all of them at one time. There'll be a button there. You can add them all to cart at one time. Boom, boom, boom. Number 4 is from Mike Nimick. And he says, what winter squash varieties would you recommend for a 4 by 8 raised bed? He has rooms on all sides to sprawl out and can trellis too. That's a little tricky because some of these...
It is a little tricky. And I normally would not recommend growing a winter squash in a raised bed.
Or pumpkin.
However, there is one type of winter squash, we call it the Peppo. And the sea Peppo. And the ones that I would recommend growing that grow more compact is the owl squash that we grew this year, a really compact squash.
Bush
style. A bush. Another one would be delicata, which is one of my favorites, and the sweet dumpling. Sweet dumpling, owl squash, or the delicata, I think would serve you well and do great in raised beds.
I would add that Acorn squash is another good option. They don't take a lot of room. We just added a variety called Reno. It's supposed to have some really compact plants. So another good one there to check out.
All right, next one comes from Robert Frazier, and he just simply says the one cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli.
So I think he was following up on the last show we did where we picked one variety for a small garden, and we did leave those 3 crops out. I'll go through here real quick. You've seen my videos. I'm doing some testing on some cabbage. This is not the earliest cabbage. It won't be the first one to win the race, but it will make the biggest cabbage. Best looking plants. Cheers is my winner on the cabbage. Cauliflower, lots of good options. Snowball, I love Snowball, but my favorite currently is this Twister cauliflower here. And then broccoli. Broccoli's a little tricky because some varieties do better in some regions than others. Some are a little more heat loving, some are a little more cold loving. For me down here, it's Green Magic hard to beat.
It is.
It's just an awesome variety. Does really well in the fall down for us. Not saying that this is going to be everybody's favorite variety, but for me personally, it's an awesome one.
Yep.
Turn the page. Here I am on the road. All right. Timothy Smitherman says, not related to this show, but when growing English peas, his grandfather always used an inoculant to get a better crop. Have y'all heard of this? And could you get something like it or something else take its place? What do you think about inoculating English peas?
Inoculation causes a lot of confusion within the gardening community. Inoculation actually has nothing to do with seed germination. It actually has nothing to do with the crop that the plant is going to make. Inoculation is part of the process that allows legumes, which English peas are, to attract nitrogen and store nitrogen in the nodules on the root system. And that's the reason it's so important with cover crops. It's not near as important on crops that you're going to eat because you're not planting them as a cover crop to build soils. It is important for crops such as clover, where you plant them out there and you want to attract that nitrogen, you want it to be there for the next crop. And that's the reason that we offer clover that is covered with the inoculant already on there. So inoculation has nothing to do with germination. It has nothing to do with how big or well crop of peas you're going to make. It simply has to do with the ability of that plant to attract that nitrogen. And I'm going to go one step further here. I did a test a few years ago and I run across this just out of my own curiosity. I planted clovers out there and I didn't put inoculation on either one of them. Of course, I already had the beneficial bacteria in my soil because once you got that beneficial bacteria in your soil, it's there and it's going to be there and you don't necessarily need it. We put it on our clovers because we don't know if you need it or not. It's not going to hurt anything. Anyway, I planted 2 different spots of clover. I fertilized one of them heavily and I didn't fertilize the other one at all. On into the season, I dug them up and I did a comparison of the nodules, the nitrogen nodules on each one of them. And what I found was the one I didn't fertilize had a lot more nitrogen than the one I fertilized or not. And this is the conclusion that I came to. And I've seen some documentation to back it up. If you are planting these cover crops to attract nitrogen in there, they're not going to attract and hold on that nitrogen unless they need to. If you over fertilize them, they're just not going to do their thing.
Store it unless they got
So that's the reason it's important I'm chasing rabbits here. That's the reason it's important not to fertilize your cover crops such as clover and your Australian winter peas. Let them do their thing, attract the nitrogen and hold them for you. You don't necessarily need them on English peas or any kind of bean or any kind of pea if you're growing it for your food and not a cover crop.
When you say attract nitrogen, what you mean is they're grabbing atmospheric nitrogen and fixing
That's
it
exactly right, Travis. Yes.
Just want to make sure everybody's clear on that.
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate everybody who provided some questions for us to answer on the show. And if you have any other questions about anything we talked about tonight, any comments, definitely put those below and we'll be glad to get to them for you. That's going to do it for tonight.
Yeah.
And hope everybody enjoyed it. If you did, give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that little bell so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. And if you did enjoy our New Year's Eve show tonight, check out these other 2 videos right here. I think you'll really enjoy those as well. Y'all have a good 2021. We'll see you on the flip side.
Take care.